Hi guys, I'm here to show you part 2 of the Photoshop and editing lesson. Um, we are going to take some of your color pictures and turn them into black and white and do a little bit of editing. We can also talk about color and adjusting color for good exposure. We're going to start by opening Photoshop. So if you follow my cursor down to the Start menu, we're going to click on the Start menu, scroll up to Adobe Web Premium CS4, click on that, and then we're going to scroll down until we find Adobe Photoshop CS4. There are two Photoshops. I would just click on the first one. So we're going to close these two images that are already open. And this is what you will see on your screen. Photoshop is a really large program that is capable of doing a lot of things. Designers in the field and photographers in the field use Photoshop, and we actually have the same program that those professionals use in their businesses. So we're really lucky to be able to use this program. In photography class, we are not going to be diving really deep into what Photoshop can do. We are just going to be doing some basic editing because we're looking to have good exposure for photographs, but really we're spending more time thinking about um, the um, the quality of the composition and the quality of the contrast in the image. So the first thing we're going to do is go to File up in the top menu, click on that, and we're going to go to Open. Now we saved our images in a folder on the desktop. So we're going to click on the desktop and we're going to find the folder that we just made. And my folder was called Practice Photo. So I'm going to open that folder. I have a couple of images in the folder and I'm going to click on one right now that I want to edit. So I'm going to click Open. Here's my image. You can see that there are a lot of horizontal lines in the image that draw your eye across the picture plane. There's also an implied line that comes through here made by the bolts in this mechanical object. It's like a tractor or something. And the lighting is really nice in this photograph. There's also some really nice texture in there. So all of those things contribute to a really good composition. But we want to also talk about the contrast and the highlights and shadows and just having a really good exposure. So we are going to go up to Image and we're going to change this image to black and white. So we're going to go down to Adjustments and go down to black and white. And that is actually going to take away all of the color channels that are in the image. And we could adjust these color channels, but I'm just going to hit OK at this point. When working with an image in black and white, we are looking to have very bright whites, dark darks, so a pure black, and then a really nice wide range of values in between, so different grays in between. So I'm going to go back up to Image and show you that there are several ways. If you go into Adjustments, there are several ways that you can change your contrast. The first way is Brightness Contrast. This is very simple. You just slide the sliders. You can make it brighter or darker, and you can do that with contrast as well. So you can see it's a lot contrastier when I do that. If that works for you, you can use it. I'm going to cancel it, and I'm going to show you the next adjustment. and that's levels. I really like levels. It makes a lot of sense to me. It's easy to use, but you still have more options with the details in the image. This is called a histogram, and these toggles underneath the histogram control different parts of the image. So this left toggle controls the darks. This right toggle controls the lights, and I usually say drag the toggle to the edge of the mountain. That usually gives you the dark or light that you need to make the image strong. And then this middle toggle controls the midtones. So I'm going to put a little bit more value into those midtones than what originally was there. It's always nice to see some detail in the highlights. You don't want it to be so bright that you can't see this texture. The darks as well. You don't want the darks to be so dark that you can't see any detail in dark, but you do want a pure black. So we're going to leave it like that, and I would leave it at this, but I'm going to cancel that as well, and I'm going to show you curves. So if you go to Image, Adjustments, Curves, this one is a little bit more complicated. There's a line, diagonal line that crosses a grid, and I usually click on the points that the line cross the grid. Then I adjust these things individually. What's great about curves is that you can really adjust things with a lot more detail and specific to certain areas. So usually, if I pull the curves down a little bit on this end, the darks will get a little darker. This might be too bright for me. I can kind of fiddle with these things a little bit on my own. So I think I like that, and I'm going to hit OK. So this image to me looks pretty good. It's pretty contrasty. It's attractive. It draws the attention of the viewer. You can see the detail in the mid-tone areas. So I would, at this point, save my image. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Save As, because I want to have my color version, but I also want to have my black and white version. So I'm going to name this Machine EW for black and white. I'm going to leave it as a JPEG, and I'm going to hit Save. I'm going to keep the quality at 12. You always want your quality to be the maximum, which is 12. If it's ever lower than that, you want to change it to 12 and hit OK. And now you have your black and white image saved. And I'm going to stop here. And then we'll talk about color in the next part 3.